The scream that stopped the market. A scream slices through the heat of the afternoon. A girl runs, her head wrapped, hands over her face. The grinding of mortars stops. A trader drops a basket of tomatoes. Children drop skipping ropes. All heads turn toward the salon. Silence walks into the village with her. 1.2, it wasn't my face. I saw something in the mirror, it wasn't me. She trembles, voice cracking, eyes squeezed shut. Women gasp. One clutches her wrapper. Another crosses herself 3 times. Chineke, what did she see? Old women whisper. The eye sees what the spirit hides. The mirror has memory, says one with a shaky voice. 1.3, Mama Juma locks the door. The salon door creaks open, she steps out. Not rushing, not blinking. Her wrapper tied firm. Her eyes sharp as cutlass steel. In one hand, a bunch of iron keys. She locks the door once, twice, then a third time. 3 locks, 3 sounds, 1 silence. She slips the keys into her wrapper. 1.4, I told her, no mirrors. She brought it on herself, I warned her. Her voice is calm, like rain that floods slowly. No one speaks, no one moves, only the girl still sobs, and the market holds its breath. 1.5, the market becomes a murmuring hive. They say she saw a ghost. No, she saw her death. Maybe it was a witch trapped inside. She looked into her future and couldn't bear it. Rumors spread like palm oil on cloth. One woman covers her mirror with a cloth at home. Another pours salt at her doorway. Old men shake their heads and hum low tunes. Young girls tie their scarves tighter. 1.6, what is this woman hiding? She calls it hair work, says one voice, but that is not what I see. A woman spits near the mango tree. This is spirit work, not beauty work. The people shift, heads nod, eyes glance back toward the locked salon. Someone mutters, even my scalp tingled the last time she touched it. No one laughs. 1.7, no one dares ask Mama Juma. Children get pulled by their wrists. You must never go near that place again. Even the chief's wife, her hair freshly plaited just days ago, walks past the salon with her head turned away. Not a single greeting, not a single glance. 1.8, the whisper that stays in the wind. Evening falls, pots bubble, fires burn low, but the question floats. Through cooking smoke, through evening prayers, through dreams. Why are mirrors not allowed in her salon? 1, a stranger from the east. 10 years ago, she walked into the village wearing red wrappers and beads thick like forest vines. No greetings, no family, no history. She pointed at the old shop by the river and paid in cowries and coins. People watched her sweep the dust, wash the floor, and light a black candle in the doorway. She has no husband, no children, not even a mat to sleep on. Someone asked, who starts a life in silence? 2.2, 1 rule, 1 warning. When she opened the shop, the people laughed. No mirrors, she said. A salon with no mirrors? Even boys selling yams laughed. But the first customer left with tears in her eyes and hair flowing like water. Then the laughter stopped. 2.3, the hair that grew overnight. A girl with burnt patches from herbs came back with her scalp full. An old widow walked in with gray strands and came out with jet black coils. A baby with rash on her head stopped crying after 1 rub. People started calling it miracle oil. She said nothing. 2.4, the river shop becomes a shrine. Before dawn, women lined up with bowls, wrappers, and whispers. Some brought cola, some brought coins. All came with hope. She doesn't talk, but her hands carry something, one said. They bowed their heads when she touched them. 2.5, smells trouble. She stood across the road, arms crossed like locked gates. She never laughs. She never eats at the market. She never calls any name but silence. She doesn't even own a mirror. People shrugged. They didn't care, as long as the magic worked. 2.6, wonders are not free. She touches your head and your problems run, said one. And where do those problems run to? Nemeka asked. No one answered. Wonders are not free, she said. Everything that gives must take something. They turned their backs. They liked their new braids more than her warnings. Sat 2.7, Amaka, the bright-eyed apprentice. She found the girl by the river, carrying a basket of soap leaves, took her in, taught her how to grind roots, boil oils, and press powder. The girl swept fast, listened hard, watched everything. She noticed that after the last customer left, the lights dimmed and the door creaked behind her. 2.8, the cupboard that never opens. Each night, she saw her kneel before a wooden cupboard. It had no handle, no carvings, just dust. But she placed both palms on it and whispered in a tongue the girl had never heard. The cupboard would tremble, glass would shift, and silence would grow thick like palm paste. 2.9 The mirror behind the door. One night, the girl crouched near the back. A crack opened. A sliver of silver blinked. A mirror. Not large, not normal. It glowed even without light. The girl's breath caught. She whispered, but she said, "No mirrors." Amaka hides beneath the dryer. The wind howled like spirits calling names. She waited, crouched behind the broken dryer, knees to chest. The last customer had gone, the door locked, the candles low. She did not blink. 3.2 The mirror glows like fire. She watched the woman walk to the cupboard. 3 keys, 3 turns, 1 black cloth. She unwrapped it slowly. The mirror inside looked small, just glass. Then she spoke, a language with sharp edges and no breath between. The mirror glowed, red, alive. 3.3 A snake in the reflection. From the glass, something moved, a snake, blacker than night, eyes golden like fresh palm oil. It slithered behind her in the mirror, but not in the room. The girl covered her mouth, no sound, just shaking. 3.4 A broomstick betrayal. Her elbow knocked the broom, crack! The sound split the room. The woman turned. Eyes steady, face calm. "Come out, Amaka." 3.5 It shows everything. She stepped forward, ashamed. But the woman did not shout. She looked at the girl and said, "That mirror is not for beauty. It shows truth, not what your eyes see, what your soul hides." Then she wrapped it in black again, locked it away, turned, walked. 3.6 Nameka strikes with words. Morning came, the sky still gray. By the pump, the loud mouth waited. "So, you hide under dryers now." Her voice sliced the air. "You're her child now, or just afraid to know what she really is?" People stopped. Buckets paused in midair. The girl kept walking, but her heart shook. The dare that breaks peace. A mirror dropped at her feet, cracked, dirty, still sharp. "Take it, put it under her chair. Let us all see what she hides." Eyes turned. No one spoke. No one needed to. The dare sat heavy in her palm. 3.8 Amaka's silent war. That night, she sat in the dark with the mirror. It felt warm. Wrong, but the words echoed. She said truth, not lies. What truth is she hiding? She wrapped it in cloth and prayed with shaky lips. 3.9 The hidden mirror. Before sunrise, she cleaned the salon, swept twice, checked the oils. Then, with hands like thieves, she slid the mirror under chair 4. The one the woman never stood near. She taped it fast, heart pounding. Then waited. 3.10 The screaming customer. The first customer came with laughter. She wanted cornrows for the market dance. She sat on chair 4, smiling. But when she leaned back, her head tilted slightly. Her eyes caught something under the chair. 3.11 Possessed by the voice. Her body jerked, her arms stiffened, her eyes rolled white like boiled yam. Then she shouted, but the voice was not hers. "You broke the law of mirrors. You called me out." The voice was deep, cracked, not human. Then she collapsed, limp, silent. Starting point 12 Fear swallows the room. No one breathed. One woman screamed. 2 others ran. Children outside dropped mangoes and ran. The girl stood frozen. The woman entered slowly. Her face said nothing. Only her eyes moved to chair 4, to the girl, to the crack under the seat. The village surrounds the river Salon. The drums stopped beating. Goats stood still in the middle of the road. Even the river behind the salon ran quiet. Men, women, children gathered, some barefoot, some still holding soup spoons. The circle tightened. All eyes faced the old salon. Point 2, tell us what you've brought here. Nameka marched into the center like thunder in wrappers. She pointed at Mama Juma, her voice louder than market bells. "She is not who you think. This is not a salon, it's a shrine." The chief arrived, wearing his red cap of justice. He raised his staff. "Speak now, woman. What have you brought among us?" The cupboard opens before all eyes. Mama Juma did not flinch. She walked slowly to the cupboard. Each step sounded like judgment. 3 keys, 3 turns. She lifted the mirror, its cloth falling like night. "This," she said, "is not just a mirror." 4.4 We shared one soul. "My twin sister and I were born bound by soul," she began. 2 hearts, 1 spirit. She used this mirror to steal beauty, youth, health from innocent people. I stole it to stop her, but her spirit lives in it. She looked at the crowd. "If you stare into this glass, you don't just see yourself, you invite her." 4.0 laughs at one. Nameka pushed forward, arms flapping. "Lies and stories. You charm them with tales." She grabbed the mirror from Mama Juma's hands. This is ordinary glass. She stared into it. 4.6 ashen wrinkled. The wind roared. Her braids turned gray, then white, then dust. Her skin twisted like old paper, wrinkles deep and dry. She screamed, dropped the mirror, and fell to her knees. Help me! I can't feel my face. 4.7 The twin spirit rises. The mirror pulsed red. Smoke crawled out like snakes through cracks, then rose. A dark figure floated above the ground, hair long, eyes burning, voice like 10 drums crashing. You brought me back, sister. Mama Juma's knees buckled slightly. No, no. 4.8 A battle not of flesh. She stood tall again and began to chant, words no one understood, but the earth understood. Shadows danced on the walls, 2 silhouettes, twisting and clashing. One light, one dark. The air split, the glass shook, children cried, men stepped back. 4.9 Amaka holds the pestle. Amaka ran through the crowd. She didn't think, she just moved. Inside the salon, she saw the mirror on the floor, glowing like blood. She grabbed the pounding pestle used for herbs, lifted it, tears on her cheeks, fire in her eyes. 4.10 Enough! The spirit screamed, lunging toward Mama Juma, arms like smoke, mouth wide. But Amaka swung the pestle with all her small strength. It hit the mirror. Crack! Glass exploded. A scream louder than the sky split the air. The spirit twisted, burned, vanished into smoke. 4.11 Silence. No bird chirped, no baby cried. Only the smell of burnt herbs and old rain filled the air. Mama Juma fell to her knees. The cupboard door swung shut by itself. The mirror was no more. The salon door stays shut. For 3 days, the river salon breathed no life. The chairs gathered dust. The walls, once echoing laughter and gossip, stood silent. The mirror was gone. So was the music in the air. The door remained locked. Not a single comb moved. 5.2 Mama Juma by the river. Down by the water, Mama Juma sat on a low stool. She wore a faded wrapper and a scarf that barely held back her gray hair. Her once steady hands now trembled like dry leaves in harmattan wind. She watched the river, whispering to it in the same strange tongue she once spoke to the mirror. But now, her voice had no power, only memory. 5.3 Amaka faces the people. On the 4th morning, the villagers returned, not to do hair, but to decide its fate. They stood in front of Amaka, faces tense. One tall man shouted, "Shut it down! Too much darkness has passed through those doors." Another woman cried, "My sister still wakes up screaming." The crowd murmured like distant thunder. 5.4 We still have hands. Amaka walked slowly to the salon porch. She looked tired, but her eyes held a quiet fire. She raised one hand, not to shout, but to speak. "Mirrors can lie," she said, "but hands don't. We still have hands. We will trust them." Then she picked up a broom and swept the dust from the doorstep. She opened the door and light poured in. 5.5 The first 3 women returned. Later that week, 3 women came. One wore dark glasses. One held a child. One kept looking over her shoulder. They entered without words. The one with the child whispered, "Can you help with her hair? She's been pulling it out since that day." Amaka nodded. She mixed the oils. She twisted the braids gently. No mirror on the wall. Just hands. Just healing. 5.6 Mama Juma watches from afar. Mama Juma never stepped back inside the salon, but she sat near the roadside each day beside her water pot. She watched children run past. She smiled at old women going to market, and when Amaka stepped out to sweep the front porch, their eyes met. Mama Juma would nod softly, no words, just pride and peace. Ninameka's quiet life. Namika wore a wrapper tied tightly around her head, always. Her voice, once loud and sharp like pepper, had softened to silence. She walked slower now, carried water with both hands. People asked her once, only once, what she saw in the mirror. She just shook her head, eyes far away, lips sealed. And from that day on, she never spoke of mirrors again. Let me know when the voice of the storyteller. And so the mirror shattered, but the tale still lingers. The storyteller's voice drifts like evening wind, calm and wise. Some truths are not for every eye. Some beauty must stay unseen. Mirrors show what we are, but also what hides behind us. Truth is not always a gift. The village still whispers, but no longer with jokes. Children no longer peek through the salon windows. And elders now say, curiosity is a hungry fire. Knowing too much can burn the fingers. The river flows as always, but something in its song has changed. 6.3 Amaka learns the hard way. Each evening, Amaka looks at the cupboard, now empty. She touches it lightly and murmurs, "I only wanted to know." And then, more softly, "But now I know why she warned me." She still works the salon, but without mirrors and with more silence than song. Not all strange things are evil. The villagers begin to see Mama Juma was never wicked. She was a woman who caged a storm so others could be at peace. Her silence was protection, her one rule a barrier between beauty and chaos. Now they understand. Some things protect best when left unexplained. 6.5 The Price of Looking. Nemeka hides her face beneath layers of cloth. She walks without words, no longer the loud drum she once was. Amaka does hair with only her hands, not her eyes. And Mama Juma watches from the riverbank, a shadow softened by age and memory. Above it all, the wind whispers through the trees. If only they knew, they would have never looked.